Hello and welcome to the Private Practice Podcast. I'm Dr. Brooklyn Storm, and with nearly 30 years experience in the industry, I'm really excited to share practical insights, valuable wisdom, and all the tools that you need to build a thriving private practice. So whether you're a counsellor, psychologist, social worker, or play therapist, this podcast is all about keeping it real with stories, strategies, and all the support you need to help you flourish in business. We're going to be embracing a mind, business, spirit approach, diving into honest conversations that will uplift your practice and soul. And if you haven't already, come and join us in the Counsellors Connect Australia Facebook group. It's totally free and you'll find a warm, supportive community of like-minded professionals. So go grab your favorite drink, your journal, a pen, get cozy, and let's dive into the mind, business, spirit approach to private practice that you've been looking for. Welcome to another episode of the Private Practice Podcast. I am so pleased that you're here. I've got a really good episode for you today, actually. And yeah, I've been bursting to share it with you because I think it's going to be super duper helpful. At the end of the episode too, you'll be able to pop into the show notes and download a free resource that I've made for you as well, so that you can get a quick win and you can go away and implement what we're doing so that you can start to see some real changes in your practice over time. So if that all sounds very good to you, let's dive right in. What we're talking about today is why rapport is the missing ingredient in your healthcare marketing. So it doesn't matter what profession you're in. This is what I believe to be true. I really think that healthcare professionals, by and large, so I'm talking about psychologists, social workers, counsellors, play therapists, OTs, speechies, GPs, psychiatrists, everybody can really struggle with their marketing despite consistently trying, right? And we all know what that looks like. It's the website, it's Google My Business, it's your social media, all of the things. So one of the things that I see happen is because as you know, I run a marketing course and I run a private practice certification program, plus I've got a big community, is there's often people who are sharing stories about how they're doing all of the things, but they're not yet getting the results. They're looking for the next thing that they should do. Well, what I want to share with you is something that I noticed happen with my work and my clients. And that was when I let go of the idea of feeling like I needed to get people to sign up for things, or maybe I needed to, I wanted to rather get people to book for therapy sessions or buy my course or things like that. When I started to step back from that and just focus on building connections with people, everything started to change. Okay, so I shifted my focus to the idea of connection, and I'm going to break it down for you in a moment. And as I said, I'll give you a template. And that was when I really started to see a big shift in the results. So I started to see improvements not only in people who wanted to work with me, like the numbers were increasing, enrollments were increasing to my courses, the membership was growing, all those kinds of things. I also just felt better, and it felt really, really nice to be able to do that. So anyway, in my experience with marketing and finding clients and helping you guys build your private practices, I now firmly believe that there are 3 pillars that apply, and they're just not getting taught by other private practice coaches because obviously I came up with them, but they're not getting taught anywhere else. I think sometimes, we think about the masculine and the feminine, right? And I think a lot of the time people get so caught up on the masculine, on the what do I need to do? What does the marketing message need to be? What does my graphic need to look like? How many times should I be posting? We get all caught up in that, and we forget the feminine, and we don't get bookings or inquiries or discovery calls. And it's because the feminine isn't in that mode where she's ready to receive, right? She's in the wounded feminine, thinking nobody likes her, she's not worthy, she shouldn't put herself out there, she shouldn't be charging the fee that she's charging, all that kind of stuff. And so it kind of all feeds into each other. And then we create this cycle of feeling like I need to do more things because the thing that I'm doing isn't actually working. But in reality, the thing that you're doing, you haven't given time to work. And in business, things take 90 days. So each strategy that you try is going to take 90 days, right? Now, if you want to try strategies concurrently, you can, but you have to be able to be very well organized. And I wouldn't recommend it, especially if you're just starting off in private practice. But once you have a clear strategy and you're okay with following through on it, then you get into the feminine and you're able to receive. And the reason that you're able to do that is because you feel safe. You got this strategy to fall onto or that's supporting you. And so now you feel really safe to just go and be you and help people. But the 3 pillars that I teach in my marketing course are, first off, rapport and connection. The second pillar is authority and credibility. And the third pillar is outcomes and transformations. So the common mistake that I see happening in marketing for private practice owners is that so many of them, and maybe you've done this too, I don't know, I did in the past as well, but they're focusing on promoting their services. So they're focusing with their marketing on promoting counselling sessions or counselling programs, or they're focusing on selling the retreat, or they're focusing on selling the course, or whatever it is, right? Rather than building rapport with their audience. Now, when we're focusing on selling sessions, right? Or when we're focusing on getting enrollments or people buying tickets to our things or whatever it is, it doesn't work because it doesn't resonate with your potential clients. The reason for that is because your clients are seeking trust and connection before they even commit to services, right? So, healthcare marketing is really, really, really complex, but it doesn't need to be for us, okay? The second reason there is that when the content that we're putting out into the universe, when we're putting it out into the world is overly promotional, it alienates audiences instead of engaging them, right? And the third thing I would add in there is that when we share generic content that's really easy for them to find online or on social media, we lose them because they feel like we've got nothing to add. They feel like we're just at the same caliber as everybody else. The reality is that you're not. You're actually very specialized in what you do, but your hesitation or reluctance or unwillingness to share high quality, high value information for whatever reason. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's imposter syndrome. I don't know. Or maybe you think only paying clients should have access to that. I don't know. But that also results in clients not seeing you as someone who knows their stuff, right? So they don't book in, they're not going to book in, and you will keep posting that same poor quality stuff over and over and over, wondering why you're not getting clicks, wondering why you're not getting inquiries, wondering why you're not getting traffic, and you'll say marketing on social media doesn't work, and it's not true. Marketing on social media can work, marketing on your website can work, but you have to do it the right way, and you don't know what that right way is if you never learned. So what's happened is you're winging it, you're guessing, you're putting out there into the world what you think you should be putting out there into the world, and you're wondering why it's not working. So if you've been focusing on, just have a look, bring up your latest marketing things that you've been doing, whether it's your blog or your website or your socials, whatever, but have a look at it and ask yourself how much of this is promotional versus how much of it is high value, and just have a look, right? The other thing too is when you're doing all of the promotional marketing, again, as I said a moment ago, it's not connecting with anybody because you're not connecting with anyone. All right. Okay. The second thing there is that I really want you to take away from this episode the power of rapport. Now, for those of you who are listening that are in the professions of psychotherapy, counseling, psychology, maybe even psychiatry, you of all people understand the power of rapport. In fact, it's one of the very first things that we learn when we start our education to be professionals in this career, right? but you need to apply it to your marketing. And what that looks like is you need your marketing to support you in creating a genuine connection with your audience. That's the very first step for you to be more successful with your marketing. All right. Now, I want to share with you what the research says. So there's research that consistently shows that building trust is foundational to client engagement and client retention. All right. The other thing is that storytelling and personalized communication will really encourage and cultivate strong emotional connections and loyalty to your business, loyalty from your clients to your private practice. And the reason for that is because when you're doing things like sharing a story, for example, there can be an element of vulnerability in that, which people respond to. There can be authenticity in that story, which people will also respond to. But I think overarching all of that is that our beliefs are in our subconscious mind. And if you have a belief that as a client, you can't find the right therapist, or somebody isn't going to be the right one for you, or therapy can't help, or something like that. If you hear a story, what happens then is that story is heard into and received by the subconscious mind. And that is where beliefs and, thoughts and everything can start to shift and change. And that's really important because with that comes growth, and with that comes expansion, and with that comes an openness or an increased readiness for that client to become a paying client with your business. And thirdly, storytelling is clinically demonstrated to produce a neurotransmitter called oxytocin. It's affectionately referred to in the scientific community as the love drug because it bonds people together. So we hear about oxytocin with mums and their babies. When they see the baby for the first time, there's a big surge of oxytocin, and it's this big bonding moment that they really share and experience. Well, it's the same with stories. When we hear a story, like when I tell you stories about what's happening with my mum, or at the gym, or with Buddy, or things like that, you feel connected to me because I'm letting you in. You get to hear a little bit about what happens behind the scenes in my life and things like that. It's producing oxytocin for you hearing it, which helps you feel connected or bonded in some way, right? So that's what we want to create with your clients too. So storytelling is super powerful. And the second part of that point there that I wanted to speak into for a moment was personalized communication. So I did put a free mini masterclass on my YouTube channel yesterday. I will link it in the show notes so that if you missed it, you can go and watch it or listen to it. That spoke about personalized communication, and it taught you how to increase retention and reduce no-shows by using personalized SMS messages. And I also gave you a free resource of, I think it was 10 templates that you can use and adapt, and use them today, if you like, in your private practice to get more bookings, reduce no-shows, especially with new clients or new patients, and improve retention. So personalized communication is so important, okay? But there are also some other practical ways that you can build rapport through your marketing. One of those is to share relatable stories or client experiences. Now, you don't necessarily need to speak about a real life client and get their permission and get their consent and do all of that sort of stuff. What you could do instead is maybe think about the ideal client for your private practice. Maybe you want to think about 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people that you've really enjoyed working with. What did they all share? What did they have in common? What was the journey? And, mash them all up together in a story. You don't have to identify anyone. You de-identify the story. But the crux of the story is true and it's genuine, right? By and large, people come to your practice for help with this thing. Their challenges are this, that, and the other. By the end of working with you, they're now functioning at this level, feel this way, think like this, have these things, feel this way, if I didn't say it already. And then you speak into how working with you got them from where they were to where they are today, right? That's a story that you can absolutely share, and you can share it on any platform, audio, visual, on your website, doesn't matter. And if you really wanted to cover yourself and cover all bases, you would simply add a little disclaimer under that story that says, the story is a typical example of what clients experience when they come to my business or my practice, or they have this service, da 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 da. This story does not depict any actual person, and if there's, if you recognize yourself in this, that's purely coincidental. So you just have a little disclaimer there like that, right? But the point that I'm trying to share with you is that relatable stories really help potential clients see how you can help them, because they can now see themselves in that other client's journey. Number one, a story is easier to remember than a boring post or a boring, generic, bland, vanilla, piece of content that you put out into the world that they could get from somewhere else. And a story is usually going to allow somebody to experience some kind of feeling or emotion, right? Maybe there's a apprehension, a hesitation, a joy, a lightness, a relief, whatever it is. Stories usually trigger some kind of emotion, and that's what we really want to have as well. So that's one way. Another way that you can do it is you can engage authentically on things like social media or your YouTube channel or your podcast platform by responding to people's comments or questions. Okay, so just be you. You don't need to, wear a mask. You don't need to portray that you're a professional. You don't need to get into character as a professional. It's enough for you to be you. So just be you on your social or your podcast or YouTube, whatever, and respond to comments or questions as you, right? As a human. You don't have to use jargon or complicated language or anything like that. Just be conversational and be authentic, all right? And yeah, that's my third point there. Be conversational. So in your blogs, emails, videos, podcasts, websites, when you write, remember that you're writing in a way that should be making somebody feel like they're there with you, in the room with you, okay? It's not academic writing. Unfortunately, when I do people's website reviews, which I love to do, if you haven't had a website audit, let me know and I will send you a link so you can get one done. But when people write in a very formal way on their website, it alienates potential clients because they don't get it, they don't understand the language, they don't understand the terminology. But we can fall into the trap of writing like that because we're so used to writing academically that we've forgotten how to just write person to person. So yeah, really important that we maintain conversational language, can still be professional, but keep it conversational across the different ways that you're marketing your services, right? I want to speak now into why authority and credibility and outcomes and things like that come down the track, right? Remember, they're the second and third pillars there. So authority and credibility just kind of naturally follow after the rapport has been established. So there's research to suggest that clients are more likely to trust your expertise once they feel really connected to you. Okay, so they have to feel that rapport first. So if you're just speaking about your counselling sessions and how you've got availability, there's no rapport in there. So they're not going to feel like they can trust you. They're not going to see you as credible. Even if you said you've got 1 million 5-star reviews and you're the best therapist on the planet, they're not going to book in because they don't know you. There's no connection there. Showcasing things like your outcomes that you get with clients is impactful after trust is built. Okay, something to really remember there. And then examples of how rapport leads to inquiries can look like, a practitioner who shared, let's say, relatable health tips on her social media saw an increase in her client inquiries for her private practice. All right. So for her, she was talking about managing her weight. She was a counsellor and she specialised she still does specialise in supporting women with weight gain as a result of menopause and stuff like that. But one of the things that she did when she joined the marketing program that I teach, and she learned all of these things and how to do them and stuff like that, she then realised that she'd been focusing her marketing on all the wrong things. And when she started sharing little bits and pieces here and there about her journey with her weight loss, then things started to shift for her. She also started to share what was working and she also shared what wasn't. And as a result of this, within a 90-day period, she saw a significant increase in inquiries because people felt like they could relate to her, like she was relatable, like she understood, like she could get it. They trusted her then, and then they're interested in, well, how she helped other people and what could be possible for me too. They started booking the inquiry calls. Some of them just went straight into her membership, right? So this is something that is really, really important to remember. So I've got a few just 4 really practical steps that you can use to build rapport. Use them for those of you who are on social, because I always say social comes last. It should be your website first, and then something that's going to build your audience, like a podcast or YouTube or Psychology Today profile maybe, and then social media. But for some reason, everybody just goes straight to social media. So if that's you, that's okay. But have a look at your last few posts, have a look at your last few comments, and check these 4 things. First off, start with empathy every single time. So address whatever challenges or issues or problems your ideal clients that you would really love to work with are experiencing, right, in their day-to-day life. So it could be stress, could be some kind of chronic illness, whatever it is. Start speaking to that with empathy, okay? And what you might also like to do is to offer some free, actionable advice that might solve a small part of the problem for them, right? The second thing that you can do is to engage with people consistently. Sorry, I've got the hiccups now. Engage with people and do it consistently. Now, these are 2 really important words. The first one is engage. So many times when I'm doing the social media marketing audits for private practice owners, I can see that they're spamming their audience with promotional stuff and they rarely engage, right? They're not in groups generally helping people. If they are in groups, they're pitching, they're sharing links to their diary, they're telling everyone what they do. It alienates people, and they come to me and they say, "Oh, I'm sharing all my information in the groups. No one's booking." Well, they're not, because you're just spamming them with promo stuff and with marketing stuff. I mean, why do you think so many online communities now say you're not allowed to do it? It's because it alienates people. So engaging consistently means showing up, but not always posting about how you've got this service or they should enroll in this course or anything like that. It's responding to comments. It's being interactive. It's, responding to messages that people send you promptly, because when you do, it shows people that you care. It's responding to comments thoughtfully, with empathy, with kindness, with compassion, not with a link to your diary, right? It's about just building that rapport and that connection. The third point, as I mentioned before, is to share information about you, like let people know why you became a healthcare professional. Let them know why you chose psychology over counselling or counselling over psychology. Let them know, like, what was your journey that brought you to this point. Let them know if you've had a similar struggle and what it was like for you and how you got through it. Like, show, relate, stories every time. Stories should be something you do on a regular basis. You should have at least something that's story-based content once a week going out, okay? And if you've got any success stories, or if you're selling products that you've got testimonials for, perhaps, of course, share that stuff, not in groups, but share that stuff as part of your marketing strategy from time to time, okay? Because it will show people glimpses of what could be possible for them when they're ready, okay? Your audience needs to feel the rapport first, but remember, your audience is a big pool of people, and you've got people at all different stages of their journey with your practice, okay? So some of them are going to be just new. They're not going to care about your testimonials. But people who have been in your world for a little while and they've seen you commenting, they've seen you're kind, they've seen you're authentic, genuine, helpful, knowledgeable, all those kinds of things. They've heard your story. They know a little bit, they feel a little bit of a connection with you. They will probably really respond well to hearing stories about other people's success that they had when they worked with you, right? Okay, so now I want to give you the micro coaching segment of our podcast today, because I know these are becoming popular now. Thank you. I had 3 emails this week from people saying that they were enjoying the new micro coaching. So I think I've always done it. It's just kind of never been like, I never called out that I was doing it. I think I always just wove it into the episodes, but now it's in a standalone segment in the episodes. So you can look forward to these. So I want you to think about 2 things. Here's the first coaching question. Are you focusing more on selling your services or connecting with your audience? All right, so even if you're just driving, listening to this in the car, ask yourself now, moment of reflection, am I focusing more on selling my stuff or connecting with my audience, connecting with my people, right? And the second question is, what's one way that you can show empathy today? Could you do it through a post, email, or conversation perhaps, or is there another way? But what's one way that you can show empathy today, right? And do it, right? You have to take action, obviously. And of course, we've got a quick challenge for this episode. So for this episode, this week, post 1 piece of content that focuses solely on building rapport. No promotion, no links, no websites, nothing. Just 1 piece of content that focuses solely on building rapport. That's your challenge this week. If you like, tag me in it so I can go and give it some love and help the algorithm get it out to more people for you. Okay? So, just to finish up now, remember that there's the free resource for you in the show notes. So you can go and download that, and it will help you get a quick win with your marketing efforts, okay? And of course, if you love this episode, if you're listening to it on your favorite platform, please give it a review. If you're listening to it on YouTube, please give it a thumb up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and do turn on the notification bell, because I post content 4 times a week on this channel, and I try and make sure that it's really useful and valuable, and I don't want you to ever miss out on any of it. So thank you so much for listening to another episode. I hope that you have a really beautiful Saturday. Bye for now. I really hope that you got so much enjoyment, value, and insights out of this episode today. And if you did, please feel free to go ahead and leave a review. When you leave a review, it means that more therapists can access this help and support and tools to support them in their private practice and in their journeys. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Have a gorgeous day.